Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and today we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. Obviously, we're going to be discussing the huge Robinhood controversy in which nobody could buy or sell or even get on the app to look at the graphs. And we're also going to talk about my recent gains for March 2nd, which were quite tremendous. And then finally, we'll discuss my predictions for the future of the market. But obviously, let's start out with a good old controversy with Robinhood in which over 10 million users could not buy or sell shares or buy or sell puts. The app was crashed, a lot of people couldn't look at the charts, and this led to so many people losing tons of money. And a lot of these losses came from people that do options, and lately a lot of people have been putting puts into a bunch of different stocks. And so considering the growth that we received towards the beginning of this, and then we got a lot more growth towards the end that just kept going up and up and up, a lot of people were wanting to sell at the beginning of the market because they were afraid that they would lose more money on their puts. So you can only imagine how those people felt as they had puts in a stock when it just kept going up and up and up for the rest of the day, and they kept losing more and more money, but they couldn't sell because Robinhood wouldn't let them. I definitely feel bad for these people because it's something that you shouldn't have to deal with when you use your hard-earned money on an app like this or a broker. You really shouldn't have to worry about this. And just to give you guys an example of the amount of losses that some people have faced, there was a picture circulating around on Twitter in which a user had a $202,000 equity in Amazon, and they were down 78%, equaling to around $700,000 in losses with their options play. So obviously, unless the person is crazy, they were wanting to sell those options today, and Robinhood costed them so much money. And a lot of the speculation around for the reason that Robinhood crashed today came from one user on Twitter in which he believes that Robinhood forgot to code for the leap year and it was looking for data on March 3rd when it was March 2nd, which explains why no data was showing up whatsoever in the app because it was looking for March 3rd data when that day was March 2nd, yesterday. And although this may not be something that we would normally think of, a company like Robinhood has to be on their A game and has to cover all bases because everyone's money is at stake. And when you risk everyone else's money and make them lose money, it could be a bankrupting mistake. And to me, it's almost crazy that it was something as simple as a coding error that caused people to lose this much money. Anyways, now that we've discussed that and got that out of the way, I'm going to be talking about my gains for yesterday, which was March 2nd. But as you guys know, March 2nd, which was yesterday, was certainly a significant day in which the Dow surged up 1,300 points, an event that will surely be remembered in history. And a lot of people saw some really awesome gains if you hold shares, and that includes myself. As you guys can see, my portfolio is now at $61,398, and that is equaling a gain of $3,227 plus another $220 just from one day in the market. So that's about a 6% gain including the after hours, which is really significant. This is something that does not happen very often unless you just have all of your money in one stock that surges in that one day. But as you guys can see, I do have a little bit of diversity in my stock. I have a lot in the index mirroring ETF, which is VOO, and I'll go ahead and show you guys my positions for that. My cost basis is $30,750. I own 105 shares, and as you guys can see, today's return was $1,313, which was 4.6%. And my total return is still negative just given this past week. This past week and this past month has just been very unlucky overall. But I invest in this long term, so I just don't worry whatsoever about this. Short-term losses do not bother me at all. I'm a long-term investor and I have a high risk tolerance because I'm confident in the stocks that I'm investing in. So this really doesn't bother me. It's just going to take time to get this money back up. And I started investing into VOO back in around mid-December, so you guys can see it's still not up to the point of the share price it was, around that area of time. So I'm still behind a little bit because I started investing, just a few months ago. But like I said, it's all long term and I'm really not worried about it. Moving on to the next one, we have Apple, in which I own 42 shares. And we got a huge increase today for Apple, which was 9.38%. That was a total of $1,076. And with my 42 shares, I am now once again in the positive. I'm $550 up. I was negative just a little bit ago, just a few days ago, but we got this huge increase and it's bumping me back up there. So 5% increase, not so bad so far. Then next we have my third largest holding, which is Microsoft, in which I own 40 shares. Today we got a 6.89% gain, equaling $446. My cost basis is $7,000, and I'm just a little bit negative currently. I'm 1.16% negative. That's minus $81. But I recently put a large amount of money in Microsoft just a few days ago, and I kept buying the drop as well. So it makes complete sense that I'm negative right now. And obviously, I have a lot of faith in Microsoft long term. Just look at its history, 296% in the past 5 years. And you get dividends with this stock. It just has a great history, and I'm holding this long term. So this negative is really nothing to me right now. Like I said, it applies to the other stocks as well. And finally, we have my last largest holding, which is Tesla, and we're just going to disregard the free stocks because I don't really care about those that much. But Tesla, we hold 6 shares. We bought at a whopping $926 per share. It was almost near its peak when I purchased, and I was just waiting on a little bit of a price decrease on the shares, and it just kept on skyrocketing, so I had that fear of missing out, and I decided to purchase, and I really don't regret it still, even though I'm down 17%. We got a good 15% increase just today, which is $611, so I'm still down $940, but I'm holding Tesla long term, and I have a lot of faith in Tesla long term. I think it's probably one of the few companies with the most potential within the next 5 or 10 years right now. So I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I would like to purchase Tesla if it got around near the $600 price range. I would consider purchasing more if it got a little bit lower to that price range. But that's basically my whole portfolio right there, all of my gains. I just wanted to show you guys that to maybe inspire other people to invest more in the market, because you can really see a lot of awesome gains if you put in the money and you put in the time and you have the patience long term. This is just a short term gain. Like I said, tomorrow it could literally drop 20% and I still wouldn't be worried. If it dropped 40%, if I was down to, $35,000 tomorrow, I wouldn't be worried because I know the history of the market, and the market always returns and increases even higher. And on to that topic, we have to discuss my predictions for the future of the market. And one essential thing that I think has to be noted, and at least in my opinion, I think this is applicable, and it is a term called the dead cat bounce. And it's a market term, so as you guys can see, a dead cat bounce is a temporary recovery in share prices after a substantial fall caused by speculators buying in order to cover their positions. So in more basic terms, this is just simply when you're having a tremendous bull market, you finally get to the top and you have that initial decline, that fall right there. And then you get this little bit of a bounce that we're actually seeing in the market right now, in which it returns a little bit to its previous state, which was, right up in here on February 26th. It's returning to that with the bounce. However, this is just a temporary bounce back up until it eventually falls down even more to say, something like this point. And before I even discuss the rest of this whole video is all simply my opinion. None of it is financial advice. I'm simply talking about how I feel, what I think, and all of my opinions towards everything currently. So, in my view, what I think is occurring in the market right now and what I think is going to happen in the future is we're going to see this dead cat bounce. It's going to go up a little bit. It may go up for, say, tomorrow or the next day, and then we're going to see a huge decline. And that's what I think is going to happen. I know that some people are thinking we're going to see a huge bounce even, way back up here, and that could definitely happen. Their guess is just as good as mine. But given the history of when a dead cat bounce happens, I think it's going to be an even greater drop. And to show you all a visualization of this event, a user from the subreddit Wall Street Bets named £1 booking fee posted this image, and I think it represents this event perfectly. Now, he posted it a few days ago. This was probably around Friday. And for example, this is the huge bull market that we've seen for a while now. A lot of people putting out calls on Tesla for 1,000 after it got a huge increase. And we've seen so many bull market plays and a lot of people thinking that the stock is just going to go crazy. Until finally, we have a lot of people that become bearish just because stocks become overvalued and it just doesn't make sense that it keeps going up like this. So people become bearish, and then finally we have a bearish decline. And the point that it says we are here, let's assume this was Friday and this point right here is Friday. Now, the bounce just occurred on Monday, which is March 2nd. So let's assume the bounce back up is either, from here to here or from here to here. It could be at either point. It could be going up to any point on this little line up until we get to that hump right up here. So it's possible that the stock market could keep increasing even after March 2nd. So we could be at this point right now, and it could go up to this point, or it could go up to this point. But eventually, what I believe is going to happen is that we're finally going to hit up to that second drop after the bounce, in which we're going to see a huge crash. This could be like 10 to 20% or even greater. But basically, we're seeing the bounce right here. This is all what I believe personally. We're seeing that dead cat bounce, then it's going to go back up like it did yesterday, and then it could keep going up just a little bit more until we hit that peak once again, and then it goes all the way down. And that is when people really start panicking, because this little thing right here, this big drop that we're seeing is it makes this look like it's nothing. It makes this drop look like nothing, and a lot of people were already panicking over that. So once people see this, that's when the economy can really crash and people really start worrying about, their future. However, this is all just my opinion, and we could see this bounce and it could literally straight up, keep going up even more way past all of that and just make me look like a fool. But it is what it is. Everybody has their own opinions, and I think everybody is just as accurate as everyone else, because we have no idea what's going to happen with the market. I'm just giving my thoughts and opinions based off of history and what I think this market is going to look like. Given all of the negative events that we've seen in the news lately, it just makes sense that this could possibly occur. And if this does occur, this just means that more stocks are on sale for me. I get Microsoft at a better price. I get VOO at a better price. I get Apple at a better price, possibly Tesla at a better price. If anything, I'm not worried about a bull market, and I'm actually kind of anticipating it in a positive way, because I want to get more stocks for a good deal. And I know that seems crazy to want my portfolio to decrease in value, but I'm thinking about this long term. So that negative drop isn't going to affect me since I invest long term, unless I purchase stocks at a good deal in which it will positively affect me long term. So if you think about it this way, there's more benefits long term than there are negative outcomes if you invest this way and you buy on the drop and you don't stress out over your portfolio dropping in value. But like I said, all of this is simply my opinion. Everyone has to gauge their own risk tolerance, and I just understand mine personally. But it's completely understandable if you're a nervous person and you get really anxious and nervous as you see these drops occurring, or if it seems like a bigger drop is going to occur. So I understand that people don't have the same risk tolerance. But if you're investing in quality stocks as a long-term goal and you are a nervous person, I truly don't think that you should be worried. However, that is simply my opinion. It's just one of those things where you have to address that personal problem of anxiousness and look at the bigger picture of what's most likely going to happen. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you did, and make sure to drop a like. It really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And since my channel is pretty new here, I would love to find more audience members to interact with. So that just helps me out more by helping me get into the algorithm, which also means we'll have a bigger community here to interact with and discuss all of this stuff. Feel free to let me know what you guys think about what's going to happen in the future of the market. Share your gains, anything like that. I'm always interested in what people are investing in and what their gains are and what their predictions are, so feel free to do so. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week.